Welcome back. You're watching Business Morning on Channels Television. It's a holiday edition of the program. Nigeria celebrates, or well, the world is celebrating Eid al-Kabir, and so the markets are closed. But of course, we've got our hands in a couple of issues that we're tracking for you. So you can go on our Twitter, any of our Twitter pages, to find out what we're talking about. For me, I'm at CTV Harriet, at Bboson, at CTV_Bolaji. Be glad to mind your business. And you can also tweet at BizMorning and at Channels TV and see the thread of conversations and, of course, comments already coming in with regards to the subject that we're talking about on the program today, which is the return of Ponzi schemes. You can also send us an email to businessmorning@channelstv.com. Now, Bolaho, I know, who is a portfolio manager at Cordros Capital, helped kick off that conversation, talking about the return of Ponzi schemes. And now we're talking to the Securities and Exchange Commission, the head of Enforcement Department, Amos Azi, who is going to be talking to us about what the Commission is doing in this regard. A good morning to you, and thank you so much for joining me on the program.
Good morning, Harriet.
So, from the last, my last guest, we talked a lot about why we have the reemergence of Ponzi schemes in Nigeria. Now, he also mentioned that the Securities and Exchange Commission is supposed to be a regulator for the investing public. What is the Securities and Exchange Commission doing with regards responding to the reemergence of Ponzi schemes?
Good morning, viewers, and to my Muslim brothers, Eid Mubarak. Ponzi scheme, by simple definition, is an investment fraud. Now, they capitalize on people's gullibility, promising you high returns, promising a return that is not realistic. And the scheme generally is founded on no information on the product. The operators are not registered. The products are not regulated. And so actually it's a very big problem. Now, Section 13 and 38 of the Investment and Securities Act empowers the Commission to register participants in the market. And one of our cardinal objective or mandate as SEC is investor protection. Now, investor protection takes so many forms, amongst which giving people the right information and also regulating. Now, like you said, we have seen return of Ponzi schemes. And as a commission saddled with that responsibility, every information that we've received from a whistleblower, from the pages of the newspaper, we always track it down. And how do we do that? We make our inquiries from our record to see if this investment outfit is registered, and then what is the mandate from which, if it is registered, that it undertakes. And then we also go as far as to Corporate Affairs Commission to confirm the registration status of such a firm. Now, thereafter, we now take on enforcement processes. What do? We now send our people to investigate them, locate them at their various points of business.
So how many of such schemes have you actually gone out to investigate?
We've been doing quite a lot, and some are still undergoing investigation. But we can say for sure we have closed down Women in Oil. They were parading themselves as One Nation business. They don't tell you they specialize in oil, and their focal point actually is the female gender. Now, they had 36 offices across the country. The Commission has closed down all the offices, and as I'm talking to you, they're also being prosecuted by our prosecutors. We've also had cause to close down a firm in Onitsha called Help from Above. When you say help from above, everybody looks above for help. So if there's help from above, it looks like God has sent somebody to help me.
But then with all these schemes, with all these closures, have there been any form of persecution or anything to, to further discourage, people from coming up? Because if you ask me, and, judging by the comments we're getting from Twitter, it seems as if there hasn't been enough punishment meted out to these individuals who have gone ahead and defrauded unsuspecting Nigerians.
You see, the major challenge is that they collect your money, before you know it, they have disappeared. So the process of tracking them and getting them arrested is an issue. But for those that we have arrested, they are being prosecuted in various courts in Nigeria. Like I told you, the women in oil, they are being prosecuted, some in Lagos, some in Sokoto, as we trace their perpetrators. Lamp and Lamp, YBF, all of them, they are undergoing investigation and prosecution for those that we've arrested. But certainly we need the cooperation of the public to give us information on where we can get them. And then also part of the measures we've taken is for online schemes that we cannot locate their sites, you cannot trace what they do, but they are also asking for people to invest. So part of our responsibility is to inform the investing public. Look, be wary of this kind of investment. If you burn your fingers, you can be sure the SEC will not come to our aid. So that is part of the measures we are taking. It's not just about prosecuting, it's also to inform the investing public. Look, before you invest your money, you need to carry out some due diligence, find out what they do. Are there any documentation? Are there documents that you can review their financials and see actually what they are into?
So you see, I'm going to come after the commission on this one because it's your job to protect the investing public. So you've allowed a crack in the wall and let something to slip out. So there's a crack and there's something that slipped out. We've got people in the system who are taking advantage of other Nigerians and defrauding them of their hard-earned money. Can the commission wipe out the schemes?
It's just like saying you can completely wipe out criminality. There is no country in the world that you don't have criminals. But you can, the best you can do is to control it. But wiping out completely is difficult. And I'm not sure it is possible anywhere.
So what is the commission doing to make sure that it is not, if you can't totally wipe out, but at least keep them in check?
That's what I said. Every information that we receive, we always follow up with appropriate enforcement actions. But let me take us memory lane. This Ponzi scheme started around 1899. And it's ongoing. In fact, the name Ponzi was from Charles Ponzi when he duped residents of New Ireland in 1920. And thereafter, he was prosecuted. 30 investors lost their money. He was prosecuted, sent to jail. But despite that, people are still, this business is thriving on. Even in developed, in fact, it's more pronounced in advanced jurisdictions. And so it is, and they come up in different forms. They keep on changing. You understand? Some use religious organizations. In 1996, for example, as picking an example, in New York, Greater Ministries International, which is a religious denomination, duped their members, about 18,000 members, worth value investment about 540 million. And in 2001, the Haitian government, there was a protest because a Ponzi scheme came out that had the name cooperatives. And everybody now believing that cooperatives are regulated by government. So most of the Haitian people putting their money there. So it is really a global problem. So it's not a local problem that you say, yes, Nigeria has been unable to. To the best from records available, in fact, we are doing better than most jurisdictions.
But you see, the reason why it seems to be cropping up, rearing its head right now is because of the situation that we're in. Consumer spending is contracting. A lot of people are looking for quick monies, if you like, to either send their children back to school, put food on their table, put money in the pocket to be able to move around. It's a very dire situation that most Nigerians have found themselves in. So you wouldn't blame them if we have this coming up. But they want to know, and they need to be reassured, if the commission is really doing anything at all to reduce the chances of such investment frauds coming up.
Thank you. You see, one of the things we are doing is like the invitation you're giving us. We are not talking, advising people what to watch out for when they're invited to invest their money. But like we all agreed, gullibility, Nigerians, things are hard and people take advantage of Nigerians. These investments are hardly published. It's more of like one-on-one investment. So tracking them is really difficult. That's why every information we get, the assurance I'm giving you, every information we get about any illegal operator, the commission goes after the person. We close down the shop with the encouragement of the CBN and support of the CBN and other agencies. We close the accounts, recover what we can recover, so that from the records, whatever we recover, we can then invite the people to get back the little that they can get. But the most important thing is we must continue to sensitize people. look, be wary of investments that are not regulated. Be wary of investments that are not regulated. It is difficult to some person, because I don't know whether they may be in Oshodi, some may be in Morocco, some may be in Meduguri, some may be in Sambisa. So how do we track them? The only way we can track them is information. But the assurance SEC is giving every Nigerian is that once we get information about any scheme that our record shows is not registered and has the potentials of a Ponzi scheme, we go after that scheme, we go after the promoters of those schemes, and we allow the law to take its course.
Does the commission, for instance, if, well, it's not totally your fault because the commission actually is protecting investing public. But if, for instance, an investor loses money to such a scheme, does it get any, any compensation from the SEC? That
is why the issue, that's why we are saying, invest your money with registered fund managers or asset managers. If you invest your money with a registered asset manager or fund manager, that means registered by SEC, if you lose your money, the commission has a buffer for you. That's why you have the Investor Protection Fund. Because if the scheme is registered, the operator is registered, what it means, the commission has a responsibility to periodically check on the profile of the company to see if investors are going to lose their money. So if for any reason an investor loses his money, in money that he invested in a registered and properly regulated scheme, yes, the commission's Investor Protection Fund now comes in to assist the person. But if you put your money in a firm that is not registered, we call them illegal operators. Certainly, how can you come to an aid a person that he willingly walk into illegality? Maybe probably start looking at the possibility of him prosecuting such people that put in money there. Because if you know, because we always tell people, I want to use the medium also to advise people, whoever invites you to invest as a fund manager, ask him, where is his SEC registration? One, request that the investor should give you a profile of the firm. Request to know what kind of investment are you into. Request to know what is the return on investment so that you can also review it and take informed decision. Because if an investor calls and says, look, we're investing on oil and gas, I'll give you 30% monthly. Don't forget, Shell has never given anybody 30%, and it's the biggest oil concern, Shell, Chevron, they're not giving you that. They give you shareholders based on, at the end of the year, whatever profit they make. But this one, an investor will tell you, we are into oil and gas. We guarantee you 30%, 10%, or sort of 50%. And what they do is, the first people to come in, they'll pay you. Now, that is attraction. You now inform your brother, inform your sister, ABC oil and gas, there is a better investment outfit. Now, the problem, at the end of the day, they cannot pay because the money they get from other investors is what they now pay. Now, if other investors don't come in, because there is no tangible investment where the money will come in, there will be inflow for repayment, then there's a problem. Before you know it, they've disappeared. And that is at that time that they now start resorting to SEC. We put in money, the people guys. But we advise before you put in money, ask for SEC's registration license. That way, the commission protects you. That way, if the firm disappears, certainly the firm cannot even disappear. Because we periodically check on them, we receive returns, we review, so we're able to assess their risk elements, we're able to see the profitability, and if for any reason they are unable to, it's at that stage now, the commission now come and say, yes, every business has its own risk element, on this one, this is what we can help you.
Mr. Amos Aziz, thank you so much for coming on the program and letting us know what exactly the commission, that is the Securities and Exchange Commission, is doing with regards to protecting the investors public, even though we seem to have some chinks in the wall. But thank you so much for coming on the program. The conversation doesn't end at this time. Business Morning will come back in just a bit and we'll be talking about investing still in Nigeria. Stay with us.